Researchers at Rice University and Harvard University conducted a study to figure out whether or not Fox News viewers are intelligent. Okay, and intelligent on the facts. Okay, what's really going on in the news? Are they well informed? Get ready to say, of course.
Okay, I'm ready.
They are not informed. They are very ill-informed.
Of course, of course, of course. Now, look, I actually don't think that it has necessarily anything to do with intelligence. It could, right? But it does. Look, this is just, do they know the facts, right? And it's not because dummies go over to Fox News. Although I know someone would make an argument, right? But no, it's because the so-called news station is lying to them. They're purposely misleading them. That's why they don't know the facts, because they didn't get the facts, right? It's not that they're badly informed, hence they're going to Fox News. It's they're at Fox News, hence they're badly informed. Okay, so let's give them some of the numbers.
Okay, so what they found was that they were completely wrong on 9 of the things that they questioned them on, okay, in this study. And 91% of them believe that the stimulus legislation lost jobs rather than gained jobs. 72% of Fox viewers believe that health reform will increase the deficit.
Just stop there for a second. Let me make just one quick. Look, at the end of the healthcare debate, now I didn't love the healthcare reform, but it did actually reduce the deficit. And everybody kept talking about the deficit, and I said, look, it doesn't make any sense to talk about a health reform and deficit because it reduces it, right? But that message got lost because Fox News Channel kept saying deficit, deficit, deficit. Republicans kept saying deficit, deficit, deficit. And then it actually misleads other people too. And later in the study, and this study is by a program on international policy attitudes, they had done a study earlier on this, asking the different news channels and their viewers, and found out earlier that Fox News viewers were the most badly informed on the Iraq War, etc. And they found out that it actually bleeds into the other news channels too.
It does, yes.
Because of the propaganda that is constantly being put out by Fox News Channel. And by the way, of course, the stimulus legislation has, according to nonpartisan offices, led to more jobs. All right.
All right, so I want to read you the ones that I found most interesting. 60% believe that climate change is not occurring. 49%.
Now, and pause there for one quick second. It's not that the climate change is not man-made, which is some of the more nuanced arguments that conservatives make. They say that it's not happening, period, right? Which almost no scientist in the world believes. Almost none, right? But why? We showed you earlier in this show, Fox News Vice President of News sends a memo to his reporters saying, if you ever report climate science, even if it's facts, make sure you immediately, and he bolded immediately explain that there are critics and skeptics of it, okay? So forget the facts, just tell people, and that's why 60% of Fox News viewers think that climate change has not occurred. Because they set out to deceive them, and they did.
Right. 49% believe income taxes have gone up, which is, I think that's the most incredible one. Income taxes have gone up? Really? Didn't we all get tax cuts, especially the wealthy?
Yeah, no, but they just don't know it because they think Obama, he's a Democrat, he must be increasing taxes.
Hold on. I think that is unacceptable because how do you not know it? Do you not get a paycheck?
Well,
did you not see the increase? I know it's a $25 increase or something ridiculous like that, but did you not see that increase?
In your paycheck.
Right.
Well, some were deducted out of the different parts of the check and that were so small that some people didn't notice. Besides which, that's the amazing thing about Fox News, right? You can see your paycheck, but they tell you, don't believe your lying eyes. Obama's a tax and spend liberal, so he must have raised your taxes.
It's unbelievable.
Right? And then that relates to actually another one of these, which is 63% believe the stimulus legislation did not include any tax cuts. The reality is 1/3 of the stimulus package was tax cuts. Now that's a fact, that's a verifiable fact, right? But Fox News never ever talks about that, right? And President Obama doesn't do a good job of making that case, and he's always playing defense, he's never playing offense. So it bleeds into not just Fox viewers, which is, again, 63% overwhelmingly are wrong on this, but into some of the other channels as well.
Right. 56% believe Obama initiated the GM Chrysler bailout, and 63% that Obama was not born in the United States. 63%.
Come on, think about that, man. Those are the birthers. Those are the crazy clowns of the world who are like, no, Obama's grandparents 40 some odd years ago hatched a conspiracy to put a newspaper ad in Hawaii claiming he was born when in fact he was in Indonesia and a secret Muslim, and then they knew that 40 some odd years later he would become president, and they would need that ad in the Hawaiian paper, and that the short form of the birth certificate isn't true, you need the long form. That's 63% of the Fox audience. 63% of the audience are nut jobs.
Right.
Okay? So it's a combination of they've been misled and they weren't that mentally stable to begin with. Right? Now, I got to say, on this study, CNN didn't do that well.
Right.
Although Fox News did much worse. What was the station that did the best?
MSNBC.
Not saying anything, I'm just saying.
No, but let me add something really quick. Because I think MSNBC isn't afraid to both present both sides of the story, right? And present the facts, but also make sure to emphasize what the real facts are, right? Whereas CNN, I feel like, steps back and they're like, we got to present both sides of the story, no commentary, no real analysis. We can't really check whether or not this opposing side is real or fake. Who cares? Both sides, fair and balanced.
Yeah, some say that a third of the stimulus package was tax cuts. Others say it wasn't. Well, why don't you read it and find out? How about that? But they are obsessed with seeming neutral. So they just, and then they cover fake controversies started by Fox News as if they're real controversies. You know, I don't know, some 99.9% of the scientists in the world believe in climate change, but others at Fox News don't. 50-50. Have we been neutral enough, Fox? Have we been neutral enough? Okay, I got no interest in that. So, I don't know, man. Look, these are devastating numbers.
Especially since so many people watch Fox News.
Yeah, you got to fight back against this, you know? And if you don't fight back against this, you're doing a disservice. Even if you're in the news business, not just to beat Fox in the ratings. You got to fight back against this so that American people are not massively misinformed. If you actually care about the news, if you actually care about journalism, you got to fight these propaganda people.